starting nostalgic yet, or zeros as a scoreboard. bad comments, regular song. I'm doing game phase tagging.
12-point lead for the visitors here. Emerald looking for their first, one behind, trailing 2-1-13 at this stage of the game. But an even start in general play. Of course, the pressure has been telling, and we get another example of that there with Upwey Tecoma's work inside their attacking 50, proving to be a handful. And an opportunity for them to convert a third goal. Looks good. Home it goes. 3-1-19, plays one behind. Strong start. They've been able to make the most of their opportunities inside 50. Nice finish from Waters. Sorry? Yep. So Waters puts himself on the list. And a very good contributor. Emerald with the ball forward. Sitting underneath that, trying to take the mark was Gazzard. Pressure was very good there from the man coming across in Murray. Nice ball down here towards Jenkinson. Comes out well by hand. McKay trying to sell some candy through the middle of the ground was Sesney. They switch all the way to the far side of the ground effectively. Driving it to centre half forward. Not a bad looking kick towards Park Jenkinson, who'd moved forward. And just a little hand on it from the defence. The ball comes out here. Spalding. It's close to the boundary line. Just kept in play. They'd be happy probably to see this go out of play. Size. And over for a throw-in. So on about 50 for Upwey Tecoma. Ball bobbling around about 40 from goal. (3-1-19) plays one behind in this opening term. Umpire crosses himself, happy to bounce the ball once more. Fed back, good ruck work there by Sheehan. And it's at the fall of it, we'll have another stoppage. Breaking the tackle with strength there was Mackay. Centering kick rather than having a shot. Brings it to ground in the square just as they were about to pounce on it. It trickles over for a throw-in in the pocket. Good strong start by Upwey Tecoma. Details on the state of the season for these sides coming in. We saw Emerald against Gembrook win the game after the siren a few weeks ago with a shot at goal from basically where we're standing now, about 45 metres out. But at this stage they are up against it as it's worked forward again by Upwey Tecoma to have yet another shot at goal. This time from about 20. Steady as she goes, and another one. Murray gets himself on the list. A fourth major for Upwey Tecoma, 4-1-25. Plays at one behind. We'll head around the grounds, give you other scores throughout the afternoon across the broader competition. Almost the clean takeaway. It bobbles back towards Davies. Couldn't get clean enough possession. Giving a little bit of a nudge there was Sheehan. Dinky kick into the middle of the ground, kind of a half volley ball. The hand pass is good towards Forbes. Forbes with a low darting kick, getting a valuable hand on that and bringing it to ground was Gross. Works it out towards the half-back flank on the Olinda side of the ground, and we'll have ourselves a bounce. Couldn't quite escape, and the umpire says that was holding the ball. Initial calls were for high contact, but nothing doing. Webb, been a good player over the course of the journey, finds its way forward. Boyle marks. Now, no one inside 50, so they're going to have to be patient here. They go across and find the target. Karasonyi goes into the pocket. Almost the mark. He'll get the free kick. Pakitas. Good strength in the contest. Held front position. And was duly rewarded. Gets the opportunity now to deliver what would be their first. Important kick, right side for a left footer, just drifting across the face. And has to settle for the minor score only. Two behinds place 4-1-25. Margin back to 23 points here at about the 18-minute mark of the term. Short kick is good. Through the middle of the ground. They share it well. Dart trying to push through. Free kick for a push. Far side of the ground. A lot of high numbers out there. Hannigan, one of those in the 40s. They've got 11 players with jumper numbers 40 or higher out there. Like a VFL, AFL affiliate. Nice kick, well weighted, and Johnson, who took some good marks when we saw him here in that aforementioned game a few weeks ago, takes another one overhead there. He kicked a couple of goals on that occasion, I think 3 or 4 in actual fact. He waited for a lead, that was patient, finds Suez in the middle of the ground. Down the line with a darting short kick. Target was Donadell. Couldn't take it. They've managed to maintain possession. Just got the hand pass away and was clipped over the shoulder. Good spotting from the umpire, who might not have had the best position to make that call, but did indeed make the right decision. And it's fisted over for a throw-in. Taken out of there by the man who kicked their last goal in Murray. High into the middle of the ground it goes. Umpire will take it once again. Scramble of bodies around underneath the footy. Worked out into the path there of Costas, the captain. Feeds it wider towards Waters, who's also kicked a goal in this opening term. 2 of them, in fact. Good sweeping hand pass wide there from Wadsworth. Bouncing into the middle of the ground. Important ball. Karasonyi gives the hand pass off. They feed it through. They've got some open space here to work in. Boyle didn't get the kindest of bounces. Tracks back after it. Now forced to tackle. They dodge a bullet there. Upwey Tecoma. And the umpire comes in and signals for a bounce. Up to centre half forward. Again, searching ball movement. Finds its way to McKay, who's been fairly prominent in his work around the ground as well. Directly in front. They've had good looks at goal in this situation. They've hit them pretty well. Conditions very good for football. Not a cloud in the sky. It's an overcast sort of morning. That is a thumping drop punt. Straight through the middle. Beautiful kick. Can't hit them much better than that. Fifth goal on the board for the visitors. Holding sway convincingly. 5-1-31 to 2 behinds. Taking a look at the path here for these two sides and a little bit about what's happening around the league. Emerald with that win after the siren that we mentioned, one of 2 victories this year at 2 and 5. Upwey Tecoma, 2 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw, having drawn level with Mount Evelyn, who we saw play quite well a couple of weeks ago in patches in their match against the Linda Fernie Creek. Turning around onto his right boot there was Dart. To centre half forward. Emerald do that well, and the kick just falling short. The idea was okay, but Gamley got in the way and took the mark. Fed it wider. On the wing position, chipping it inboard towards Waters. Already 2 to his name. Looking for a leading target. Good strong effort in defence by Kapanki, who takes the mark, goes short to the long-sleeved Webb. And a very comfortable switch to the far side of the ground. Had a player in about 20 metres of space. Goes further afield to Spalding. And as we hit the 25-minute mark and the siren sounds in the opening term, the visitors would be well pleased with their work. As we said, the ladder suggesting a fairly evenly matched contest. But so far it is one-way traffic on the scoreboard. 5-1-31 Upwey Tecoma. Emerald 2 behinds. It's been a very impressive start. 2 goals kicked by Waters. Singles to Mackay, Costas and Murray for Upwey Tecoma. Emerald yet to trouble the scorers in a major sense through that first term. As I said, we'll head around the grounds. A reminder also that you can get your under-19s, your reserves, even your women's competitions filmed, Game Face Vision, and make sure you check all of that out, as well as live streams across the competition as a whole and broader competitions as well through the Southern Footy League, MPNFL and more. A break at quarter time where it's Upwey Tecoma leading by 29 points. quarter time. 5-1-31 Upwey Tecoma. 2 behind Emeralds. So this is a clash of 6th v 8th on the table. Can Emerald work their way back into this contest? In terms of prominent goal kickers over the course of the season, looking at the progress of these sides, it's been a fairly even spread across the board as Emerald take it out of the middle via Kapanki. Down towards the forward line. Neat kick on the way out though by Upwey Tecoma into the path of Murray. Can straighten up onto the right, drive a lovely kick inside 50. That's clinical. Finds Richards West on the lead. On the approach. Not an easy kick, but they've been making pretty good contact on these set shots, and say conditions pretty still. That one just to the left-hand side and one behind. 5-2-32. Short ball out, popped over the top. Finding an option here in Lewis. Nice ball. As they complete the ring around the ground. Popped up. Good kick to centre half forward. That should be front on contact. Be an Emerald ball just outside 50. First goal of the quarter. Probably a must for them. Donadell looking for an option in the pocket. It's not a bad looking kick. They slide in and take the mark. So we'll go back and have a difficult shot at goal. Down there. Hoy on the approach. Couple of steps in from the boundary, about 40 metres out. Wrong side for the right footer. And I reckon he's got it home. Bit nonchalant from the goal umpire. Just swayed away to his left and said, that'll do, thanks. And it's the first on the board for Emerald. So Kapanki in the middle of the ground. Guided as Upwey Tecoma take it forward, no mark. And instead it goes the way of Spalding, who had ball in hand on the siren to end the first term. Goes towards Size. Good relaying all the way through. It's going to come back though. Kick up the middle of the ground. Short ball's okay. Finds its way to Costas, the captain, who's had a few touches. Strong contributor. Kick is well directed. Bouncing off the chest of Picaro, who marks it on the second bite. Has it in the same position that Richards West was about 3 minutes ago. Kicks from about 49 metres out, or open up the angle to give himself room. Thumps it long and strong and to the left. It's tried to work its way back, but not quite enough. Picaro on the board with a behind. looking at some of the around the ground scores across both divisions when we get ourselves a chance. Ball in the pocket. Next stoppage in play. We'll try to get that for you. Up the middle. Effective work here from Emerald, who are certainly playing better football. Webb. Long kick to half forward. Good, strong, searching lead. Taken there by Gazard, who drives it long. One-on-ones ahead. Hoy, who kicked the last goal, tried to get himself into the front position. Just couldn't quite do so. Emerald keep it alive. Want to be careful, though, at the bottom of that. Umpire gives it the all clear. We'll keep an eye on the AFL around the grounds as well. One, 2-8 plays 5-3, 33. Front and centre off that Seskis. Top of the square, mark almost taken. Half a chance. Goes begging there for Emerald. They'd got rid of their opponent. They were looking sharp. Stokes takes it away. Knocking it to ground there was Lewis. Sends it back in. Tumbling ball will land about 25 metres out, but in the hands of Upwey Tecoma, who can switch it out towards Murray, who's bypassed on the way out. Might receive the hand pass in the end. They'll just keep strolling along. Ran a long way. Down towards a one-on-one. They get out the back. They're dangerous here. They slap it forward. Pumpek trying to run onto it. Well trapped there by Gross. Gave it off towards a teammate there in the other Gross in Ethan. Switch to Lewis. Up the middle of the ground, and they're out the back if they can find a target here. Long to the top of the square. It's going to fall a little bit short. No mark taken. Front and centre there by Size. Went very high. Hit the wrong part of the ball. And out of bounds on the full. Had a tiny bit more time than perhaps he thought. Mount Evelyn and Monbulk are 1-4-10 apiece. Healesville 5-1-31 over Officer 2-2-14. Wandon 7-4-46 over Gembrook, 3 goals. And Warriallic and Olinda Ferny Creek currently tied at 2-3-15 apiece. Spalding sends Emerald back in. Working their way into the contest here. Can they straighten up and get another shot at goal? This time getting good contact on it is Size. Goes with the right foot check side and kicks his first. And the margin back to 19 points. 2-2-14 plays 5-3-33. Back-to-back goals to Emerald. We've had all 7 goals kicked to that end of the ground so far. Looking at the clash between the Gold Coast Suns and Fremantle in the AFL. It's the one around the grounds clash going on there. Fremantle led by 6 points at halftime. It's now level 7 minutes into the third at 6-6, 42 apiece. Just waiting for the footy to come back, making its way in the middle of the ground. So Emerald trailed by 29 points at quarter time. It's 19 now. I think they've given up on that ball. They're going to get a new one. That's going to get found in the forest in 100 years' time, probably. The ball tossed up in the middle. Can Upwey Tecoma just find a little steadier. They're still well ahead. Other ideas for Emerald. Donadell goes inside 50. That's almost a throw. They could get a deliberate shot at goal here on the run. Drives it straight through the middle. Karazonyi. 3 goals in a row. Brought about by some run, spread and clearance work. It's a simple game. They're starting to get their hands on it in the middle. They've won the last few out of there, and that is a pure goal. They're probably a little bit unlucky not to get the free kick for incorrect disposal. Looked like a good old-fashioned throw. But it didn't matter. They drove it through and now they lead the game. And straight away out of the middle again. Slightly cute hand pass, but it works out all right. Gross off half back into the middle of the ground. They share it around Wadsworth. Awkward looking kick, but it still might work out okay. It was paddled towards Gross, tried to trap it behind him. Similar to what Nick Dacos did last night in the middle. Holding free kick goes Emerald's way. Advantage paid. They streak inside 50, not a great kick. And the mark is cut off. Cesny at half back. Chips it into Gamely. Awkward one there. A few Upwey Tecoma players leaving that for each other. It comes through to Murray, who goes low with the kick, looking for Richards West. One back, though, by Emerald. Kapanki's kick a little awkward. Big man not making great purchase on that. Murray's kick flies out of bounds on the full and well held by the Richmond fan down there below us. Donadell with a little 1-2 from the kick in. Pulls the trigger and thumps it to half forward. It's going to favour Upwey Tecoma, who can run off half back. O'Connor drives it long. Richards West is that target. Good strong hands. Has it 70 from home. Dinky kick in towards centre half forward. Awkward ball there for Hutchison, who fed it back by hand. Jenkinson goes inside and another defensive mark taken by Spalding, who's had a very good game so far. About 11 minutes have elapsed in the second quarter. Emerald with all 3 goals of this term so far. Kapanki couldn't hang on to the mark, delayed the hand pass, but that worked out okay. Shoveled over the top there by Pakitas into the middle of the grounds. Well played there by Wadsworth. It's one back. Costas, the skipper. If they go inside 50, Spalding this time has to spoil. Curled around the body. That would be some sort of goal. It bent too far there from Picaro and almost hit the base of the behind post. Looked terrific off the boot, but it was always going to be very difficult with the right to left bend on that. Certainly a quality effort. 13-point game. Margin, as we said, was as high as 29 at one point. Look at the other division results. There is that man who was clipped over the shoulder, and the umpire's paid holding the ball. Well, that certainly looked like high contact. Some suggestions of a duck, but he was at ground level. So it's going to be very difficult to do anything other than that. Good play in the middle here by Emerald. Dinky ball forward again. Well trapped. Running flat out there from Gazzard to Webb. Feeds the hand pass back. Kapankis is there. They concede a bit of territory, but hold on to it. Pepe wide. To centre half forward. Good looking kick marked on the second attempt by Carasogni. Goes to the pocket, and again it falls a little bit short. Plenty of intercept marks for Upwey Tecoma. Good grab there taken by Waters, who keeps on running. It's chipped into the middle. Costas has it right beside the centre circle. Runner coming past, gives it to him. Left foot driving ball inside 50. A chance for the Mercurial Picario there, brought to ground again in a tackle, and this time it's a bounce. A little bit sore at the fall of it. Front and centre, Gross. Awkward looking kick out. Important one-on-one here. Webb lost his footing but did get some valuable support late from Spalding. Hand pass had plenty of carry but goes back to Upwey Tecoma. Trapped between the legs really there by Hannigan. Just got boot to ball. Goes inside 50 towards Picaro. Fed it back. Should get it in a 1-2 here. Straightens up with a drop punt and misses. That would have been another mercurial goal from Cami Picaro. Come on, Picaro. 5-4-34 to 3-2-20. 14-point game beyond the middle stages of the second term. Long ball towards the wing. It gets over the back. Free kick for a push, and they've given away a free kick they didn't need to give away. Johnson finds Seskis. This is a one where it's been breaking down. They've marked a lot of these. Have Upwey Tecoma, not this time. They have got it at ground level though, in front of their own bench. They share it by hand. Sheehan to centre half back Smith. And they've been able to complete the switch. They've got options over the top. They can just about run this inside 50. Picaro spilt the mark. Recovers okay. Just missed the hand pass, but they've still got possession of the ball. A little bit untidy, but they've got it to the pocket. Gets away from Hutchison. Over for a throw in. They dodged a bullet there, Emeralds. Upwey Tecoma had numerous chances to run that into goal. Around the grounds in that Gold Coast Freo game. 6-7-43 to 6-6-42. Wet conditions there. Not much scoring going on in that game. Here at halfback, Pepe gave the hand pass off towards Suez, who kicked the goal about 6 or 7 minutes ago. Switch into the middle. Jenkinson. Took a long time to get rid of the ball. Just got the kick away. Fox stops and props. Chips looking again for Picaro's in everything at the moment. And we'll have ourselves a bounce. Snap to the top of the square, and the mark spilt under a stack of pressure. Might still be able to kick the goal anyway. Opens up the angle, snaps it, high does McKay, and gets his second. Had an option in the goal square he could have fed, but backed himself in to finish the job. And he did just that. Upwey Tecoma get their first of the second quarter. That's the first goal kicked to the right of your streams today. All 8 previous goals kicked down to the left. 6-4-40 plays 3-2-20. We'll check scores from the other division. And the Healesville Greyhounds doing terrific work for footy in this area, bringing you that. Those scores at our next stoppage. Some interesting ones in there and a few blowouts to take a look at. Suez was probably caught high. Play on's the call. Upwey Tecoma launch it down the middle of the ground. Mackay forced to punch. They have got numbers here. Upwey Tecoma. Good spin from Murray. Back towards teammate in Burrows. It's turned over. Good ball into the middle of the ground. Sekis goes wide. They've got a fair bit of space here, although they are close to the boundary line. It's Hoy who kicked there first. Spearing ball, not a bad looking kick, finds the target. Low dart, it was the only way that Johnson was going to mark that. As if it was low like that to his advantage. In those other games, Belgrave 12-4-76 lead Yarra Junction 1-1-7. Alexandra 7-6-48 over Yea 3-2-20. Yarra Glen 8-4-52 over Powelltown 3-4-22, and Warburton 7-4-46 lead Pakenham 4-3-27. Johnson with the kick. Makes pretty good contact, just heading left. And a minor score, 3-3. Plays 6-4, 19-point margin. Kick comes out here towards Waters, who takes the mark and gets a 50-metre penalty for his troubles. And that should take him well within range. Spalding got a hand to it, couldn't take the mark. Well rowed by Richards West into the goal square. They've got the numbers, they concede a behind. Smart practice, 6-5-41 to 3-3-21, 20-point game. And we hit the time on period in this second term. Trying to work it by Suez. Has to put the handbrake on. Not the cleanest on the way out. Turned over as Lewis tried to kick the footy. Could only get a little toe poke on it. Upwey Tecoma building. Sweeping hand pass from Pumpek into the pocket. Almost hauling that in. He did complete the mark, Richards West, but was well and truly out of bounds by the time he had done so. However, they are in a scoring position. Spiked well out of there again by Setkis. Suez sends it wide. Sharing it around with Webb. Backwards by hand. Happy. Down the line, close to the boundary, stays in play. Half forward, it goes over the head. A couple Fox. Brought to ground in a tackle, umpire giving them a fair bit of time. Alcula was involved. Line and over. Another stoppage in the pocket. Flashing through, about 25 metres from goal. Hand pass just a little bit too hot there. Emerald under pressure in defence. Gross gets the hand pass away. Short ball, it's a pretty good kick. Now, the umpire initially blew the whistle, but certainly wasn't the mark. Edwards did keep it in play. Karasoni goes into the middle of the grounds. Suez is there. Just inside the square. It'll be difficult for the ball to get out of there, and we'll have a bounce. Off halfback, they share it. Chesney goes wide. Not a great kick. Becomes a foot race out there. Couldn't quite get there. Good switch, Murray. They've done well burrowing after that. Murray gets it back again. Short ball to the wing is okay. That'll be a relayed ball. Richards West has it. So it's at the very least it's down the ground. Are they going to advance it further than that? Certainly a bit of angst, as you would expect with that one. The crowd taking a little bit of time to get up. And a yellow card will see Seskis off the ground for the next little while. That'll lead into the third term. Coming from the ground, Murray, who's probably had it 15 times, also kicked a goal, but a very good player. So that could be a blow for them, and will not be the last, certainly, that we hear of that incident. So the recourse certainly is down the ground, and it will be advanced. With the card coming out, probably hard to argue with that, and it's gone from, it's kind of that Gary Buccanara range in the 87 prelim where they go from, say, on 50 to about 30, 35 metres with that old 15-metre rule. Fremantle 8:6:54, Gold Coast 7:7:49, 24 minutes into the third term around the grounds in the AFL as we see Richards West lining up for back-to-back goals for his team at the 26-minute mark of the quarter. A bit of a delay as a result of that. It goes across the face. Second behind for Richards West, and a double your score scenario now at 6-6-42 to 3-3-21. Fascinating little period to end the first half, which is very brief. So a bit of anger to finish the half. Be interesting to see if that does bubble over after that incident from just a moment ago. 21 points, 6-6-42 to 3-3-21. Goals to Upwey, Tecoma, 2 to McKay, 2 to Waters, 1 to Costas, 1 to Murray. And for Emerald, all 3 that came in that quarter, Suez, Carasogni and Hoy. Well, it looked like being a blowout at quarter time. Emerald certainly changed that in the second quarter by working their way back into the contest. But in the last sort of 5 or 6 minutes, Upwey Tecoma with a goal, nearly another one. And a couple of contenders for the architectural cladding suppliers goal of the day from Picaro. He had 2 massive cracks at it. And of course, on that local footy hub scoreboard, 6-6-42 to 3-3-21 as we take a break for half-time here at the beautiful Emerald Football Grounds. Fascinating watch as both these sides chase win number 3. Welcome back to Emerald. Terrific conditions for footy. Starting to get towards that twilight period of the day, 3:30. Still half the ground in sunshine, half the ground in shadow as both sides break from their huddles. Emerald working their way back into it somewhat through the second quarter. They were 29 down at quarter time. They kicked the first 3 goals of that quarter before Upwey Tecoma got one back late to lead by 21, 6-6-42 to 3-3-21. Around the grounds, looking at the senior division, Belgrave 94 points in front of Yarra Junction at half-time, 16-5, 101 to 117. Alexandra in control against Yea, 9-8-62 to 3-3-21. Yarra Glen also on top of Powelltown, 11-7, 73 to 5-5-35. And Warburton Millgrove 9-5-59 lead Pakenham 4-3-27. That is the closest of the 4 games at 32 points. So fairly well blowouts across the board in that division. And looking at the Premier Div, here it is 21 points to Upwey, as we said. Monbulk lead Mount Evelyn 4-4-28 to 1-7-13. Healesville 6-3-39 over Officer 3-6-24. Wandon a big lead over Gembrook 12-10-82 to 4-1-25. And the closest of the matches so far, Warriellic 4-5-29 lead Alinda Ferny Creek 3-7-25. 4 points the margin in that one. In the AFL in the last quarter, Fremantle hunting the third straight victory, 9-9-63 lead the Gold Coast 7-7-49 in the last quarter. But we are off and running out of the middle. It is taken there by Wadsworth. Goes to the half-forward flank as Emerald into attack early. This has been the issue somewhat for them. Great attack on the ball there from Hoy. They swing it back towards about 15 metres from goal. Just kept alive there. Upwey Tecoma by Smith. but over it eventually goes. Ball to be thrown in. Emerald looking for their first goal to this end of the ground and the first goal of the second half. Taken off the pack there by Sheehan. Runs into trouble, knocked over the boundary line, and the ball will be thrown back in. Couple of repeat stoppages. Punch straight over the boundary line. Didn't go on the full though. That would have been a free kick, as is the ruck rules these days. Front position again, McKay. In fact, yeah, McKay. And we'll have our fourth boundary throw in a row in the same pocket. McKay again holding front position, given a little bit of a nudge, trying to escape with the football. There was Karasonyi, couldn't do so. Quick snap, only bounces a couple of metres. Sejny straightens onto the left and thumps it up towards the wing position. Important ball to be won there. Good use of the body from Kapanki. Suez turns straight back into traffic and is caught. Had a first option on, didn't take that. Jenkinson wide. They find the mark down there in the pocket. And they go towards another leading option. Difficult kick, but certainly gettable. A big man who's missed a couple in Richards West to have another opportunity deep in the pocket, a few metres in from the boundary. Hoy did kick his goal for Emerald from about that spot. On the approach, will kick from 35 metres. Very tight angle, as we said. Nice kick, and he's got it. First of the second half. His first of the game there, seventh. 7-6-48, plays 3-3-21. We've been travelling about 5 minutes in this third quarter. The clock on the scoreboard hasn't began running yet, but can confirm it would be about that stage. As we search for the return of that footy, we may have lost another one. Yep, another one comes from the bench. That's number 3. There are some people heading down the hill on mountain bikes trying to get that. That's probably just going to be a souvenir now. It's not going to come back. Middle of the ground. Back-to-back goals either side of half-time for Upwey Tecoma. Restore a near-game high lead. Wadsworth involved in a little 1-2, although it didn't come back to him. Murray back on the ground. He was dumped rather unceremoniously before half-time in that yellow card incident that has left Emerald a player down, with Seskis on the pine for at least another 5 minutes. Long ball to the advantage, just drifts over the top, trying to track back onto it was Maloney, and over for a throw-in. Left forward pocket score check has Upwey Tecoma 7-6-48, leading Emerald 3-3-21. We'll get word on that card situation very shortly. Emerald trying to handball their way out of trouble in defence and having some difficulty in doing so. Comes back towards Maloney. Pulls the left foot kick back to the square. It drifted over the back and got relatively close, but one behind, 7-7 to 3-3. And once again, the pressure sits with Emerald to try to get a response. Good kick up the middle. Pepe has it. Neat kick down the ground, finds McKimmie. Not sure of the merits of that hand pass. Wasn't necessarily the best option, but it might work out okay. It's sort of been parried to their advantage if they can keep it in play. Shocking bounce. Gave Johnson no chance. Over the back, Kapanki good tap from McKay. Gave an opportunity there to Jenkinson, who had no prior, and it was interpreted as such. Panky takes it out of the ruck. Just got boot to ball. Kick smothered also on Forbes. Off a standing start. One-on-ones further afield. Good mark. Certainly did enough. Johnson, a very good pair of hands. Tends to mark most footies that head in his direction. And this, a pretty important kick for his team. Trailing by nearly 5 goals. Roughly 10 minutes after half-time. Missed one to the left at the other end of the ground from a similar distance. It's probably a tougher kick for a right footer. It is also a beautiful kick, straight through the middle. His first, their first to the right of your stream. Margin back to 22 points. 4-3-27 to 7-7-49. Good contest. And we're playing catch-up since they conceded the first 5 goals this afternoon. But not beyond them at this stage. Guided down by Mackay. Crunched in there was Forbes. Play on's the call. Next goal, particularly crucial. Does it come back to 3 kicks or does it go back out to 5? Emerald with the ball. In the middle of the ground here, Wadsworth. Kick, the right idea. Good lead there from Johnson, who takes the mark. That was certainly a mark. Player on the mark is 48 metres out. Can Johnson do it again? Better angle, 5 to 6 metres further out. Will he have to stretch or reach to get the extra distance? Or does he have that in him? Crosses the centre square, kicks from outside 50. Good looking strike, and it clears the line. Back-to-back goals. 2 excellent kicks from around, or in that case, beyond the arc. Contenders for the agricultural cladding supplies goal of the day, both of those. Really important finish just to kick those half chance goals when you are chasing the contest like they are. Back in the middle. Good work there by Gamley. Goes wider with the kick. Kept alive. Still playing boldly. Gamley gets it back again. Fires it by hand. Can Emerald launch another inside 50. It's shared well left and right. Taken there by Pakitas. Now they'll go up towards that man Johnson again underneath it. Got a hand to it. Pushed it into a bit of space. Johnson now on the hunt. And it goes over for a throw-in. Reminder, of course, to make sure you tune into the Outer Eastern Football Netball League show every Friday night with Stephen Aiden, talking about all the big issues from the week. There'll be a few to come out of this week. Thanks to our Games Day sponsors, Healesville Greyhounds, Local Footy Hub, Header Suspensions and Brakes, and Architectural Cladding Supplies, of course, the crew at Game Face Vision. So, as you can see by that contest, Wadsworth had no chance whatsoever of getting rid of that. Here is Davies taking an opportunity in the ruck. It's poked out into a bit of space here for Sheehan. Long ball forward there from Donadell, and it finds a target. Hoy, who kicked their first goal to get them going, will line up for his second, their third in a row. Closest they got in the second quarter was 13 points. If he kicks this, it's 10. So it'll be the best look they've had at Upwey Tecoma so far. Directly in front should be very gettable. On the approach, slightly stammering Josh Kennedy-like approach, and he misses to the right, a let off. 5-4-34, plays 7-7-49. Fremantle looking likely to win on the Gold Coast. 10-9-69 to 7-8-50. 19 points up with 9 minutes to go. Wet conditions there, making scoring difficult. Not the case here. Sheehan. Very good kick. Finds a teammate on the half-back flank. They'll pull the trigger into the middle of the ground. They've got some tall timber there that can contest it. But great mark taken by Kapanki. Now Johnson is again the target in that range where he had his shots. They don't go there. They instead go towards Hoy, who spills the mark, runs around, hooks the kick back to the square. But Stokes, the only one at home, chips it short and finds Dart. Dart wobbly kick, didn't go the required distance, which puts them under the pump a little bit. Sheehan able to navigate it out towards Hutchin. Going high after the ball there was Smith, couldn't take the mark. It stays in play. And Upwey Tecoma win that little battle, an important one on the wing. Dart kept on running. This is good football as they link up. Szczesny goes inside 50. Good looking kick towards Picaro. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Next goal, as we've said a couple of times today, is absolutely crucial. Upwey Tecoma with a long shot at goal. There were people with arms out saying, what about me? But it didn't matter as it's drilled through on the run. Terrific goal from long range. I think straight away those players went from hands out thinking what happened there to hands up, celebrating the major. Excellent long range strike. Costas with his second. Eight, 7-55, 5-4-34, 21-point game. Ball comes back here towards Jenkinson. Kick is cut off. Emerald need the immediate response. Arms out at full stretch there from Donadell. Couldn't take the mark. He gets it back again. They've got some space in the middle of the ground to work. Not sure that was the best option to slide back inside. Incorrect disposal. As tempers nearly bubble over again, and that is 50 for dropping the ball on the ground against Donadell. Not the wisest passage of play. Short kick's okay from Jenkinson. Finds its way through towards Waters, who's kicked a couple. Goes up inside 50 and finds the big man again. And just those little momentum swings. It was Emerald with a couple, and now it might be Upwey Tecoma with a couple back again. And given they were the side that made the running early, it just suits them fine to just play 1 for 1 for the remainder of the game. So looking for his second goal, has 1 goal 2 so far this afternoon. And now it's 2 goals 2. And in the blink of an eye, we think of the other end of the ground when Emerald had a shot to get within 10. That was missed. 2 minutes later, it's 27, 9-7-61. Plays 5-4-34. Been travelling, to my mind anyway, about 19 minutes in this term. Fremantle by 18 points with 6.5 minutes to go at the Gold Coast. Tap down. Carasogni in there. Good take out of the middle. Ward overran it. Carasogni there, outside of the boot. Inside 50. Johnson with a clever tap into space. They should get a bit of a look at goal here. And they curl it just a fraction too far on the snap there from Wadsworth. 26-point game. Feels like they're certainly not out of it. 5-5-35. Plays 9-7-61. 26 points. The difference between the two sides right now. Sheehan at a good third quarter and helping to hold up the tide. Worked into the middle of the ground, slightly risky kick, but made good by Waters. Takes a nice contested mark. Back edge of the square, was caught in two minds, goes back towards Jenkinson, who's had an excellent term and a pretty good day overall. Finds Hutchin. Short again, not a great kick, but it worked out okay. Got through a few sets of hands. Wadsworth in there with the tackle. Paddled into space. Emerald without clean possession. They've gained about 65 metres. Johnson burrowed it through. Opportunity here again for Hoy. Runners by hand. Goes towards the pocket. It'll bounce in front of Kapanki there. Sweeping hand pass. They've got a little bit of space. Can they find a target? Good vision. Well played. It was cleverly done, and Johnson can kick 3 1/4 potentially. Very nicely done by a number of these Emerald players. Johnson to bring it back to 20 points. As we say, to kick his third and his team's third in the quarter. 40 metres out, directly in front. And out to the right. 2 goals, 2. For Johnson, 2 goals, 1 of that in this quarter. 5-6-36. Plays 9-7-61. Late stages of this, the third term Outer East Football League action on a Saturday afternoon. As we say, a lovely day for footy. Starting to get a touch brisk. Works all the way up to the middle of the ground and beyond. Tracking after it down there is Edwards. Turns around. They now kick off a standing start. And a good contest victory there for Upwey Tecoma. The player involved there is Solomon, who's done it quite well. Off half-back now, Smith. Good kick forward, good mark taken, and a little bit of treatment afterwards. Gets the hand pass off towards Murray. Spoken glowingly of his game, but that's turned over. Worked wide to the half-back flank, off hands, and it will be thrown back in. Upwey Tecoma just absorbing tackle there, and it's going to be another one as they work their way inside 50, get into some space, and just that running overlap option gives them another chance to kick the goal when they do. That's the last two have come in very similar circumstances. Costas working it through for the major, and it's a 31-point game, 10-7-67. Plays 5-6-36, and you think those three goals will be the backbreaker on the contest. And heads just starting to drop a little bit. Gold Coast back within a kick against Fremantle. The very late stages of that game. 9-9-63 to 10-9-69. As Upwey Tecoma will get another shot at goal here by Richards West, who's just got more and more prominent as the game has gone on. He'll kick for his third goal of this quarter. Kicked the first one from the boundary. The last two have been much more gettable. Gold Coast within 5 points of Fremantle with 3:50 left on the clock there. This for a 37-point lead. It's already game high. For a third goal in the quarter, and that's across the face. So just as Johnson did at the other end, unable to capitalise on that chance. 10-9-69 plays 9-10-64 at the Gold Coast. 10-8-68 plays 5-6-36 here. 32-point game. Short kick into the back pocket. They'll go again with a short one taken by Lewis, pushing up into the back pocket into the shaded area of the ground. Up to the wing. A big pack of players unable to make contact with that knock on there. Coming through was Paquitas. It goes over for a throw-in. Shadows of three-quarter time. We've been going about 23 minutes. Big punch forward there from Hannigan, gained about 15 metres, and then it goes over. Hand pass out, comes over the top. Donadell through the middle of the ground. Suez takes the mark, and they land one late here. Target, good mark, very good mark taken by Wadsworth. Used the body well to shield it, and then took the mark on the chest. Feel this has to go through, a non-negotiable for Emerald. They've kicked okay from this range. Missed a couple late, but generally not too bad. That one's fine for distance, but away to the right, second behind for Wadsworth. 5-7-37 plays 10-8-68. Playing onto himself, Sheehan. Mentioned he's had a pretty prominent quarter of footy. It's worked up to the half-back line. Looking corridor. So it'll advance Sheehan up via a 15-metre penalty. Kicks to half forward. Nice little hand on the ball there from Donadell. Would probably feel he owed his team for a couple earlier in the piece. Got it on the edge of attacking 50. Jenkinson with probably a dozen possessions in this quarter to match his number. Can he kick a goal as well? Streaks in and drills it. That's a goal of the day for the Architectural Cladding Supplies. From one of the best players on the ground. And it's out now to 37-point lead, double the score. 11-8-74, plays 5-8-38. Back in the middle, as we say, late stages of this, the third term. Gold Coast, or Fremantle lead Gold Coast by 5 points with 1 minute and 7 seconds left. Those wanting to tune into that one. Another bounce in the middle of the ground. Upwey Tecoma have kicked the last 4. The margin got to 15 points. And right now, it sits at a game high 37. Good tackle from Webb in there. And the umpire says we'll have another bounce. There is Park Jenkinson again. Back into the middle of the ground and another bounce. Socket off the ground towards attacking 50 for Upwey Tecoma. Maloney's there. Goal to Fremantle, so they'll win by 11 points. Maloney pokes it wide. Now they've got some space to attack the goals. Costas again. Flying shot. Touched off hands. Was going to miss to the left anyway. 11-9 plays 5-7. A long quarter of footy. Mark taken in the back pocket. McKimmie. Go down the line. Hoy will fly high over the back. Brought it to ground. Intercepted. Fed back here towards Dart. Outside of the boot there from Sheehan. Hit the wrong part of the ball and it sails out on the full. And that one might head down the mountain as well. Sets it up. Kapanki takes a good contested mark. Feeds it off to Webb. Pulled kick down towards the wing position. Punched. It'll stay in play. Webb escorts it over. Nice roving again from Park Jenkinson. Spalding with a nice spoil. Running straight into a brick wall in there. Umpire calls play on. Quick kick forward. Johnson yet meeting it hard. Flicks it out here towards Davies. And pass fed out. Gets his kick smothered. It comes back to him. And that'll be the final act of the term. Big quarter of football for Upwey Tecoma. They kicked 5 goals, 3 in that term to 2 goals, 4 to Emerald to turn a 21-point halftime lead into a 38-point lead at the last break. 3 goals to Costas, 2 each to Mackay, Richards West and Waters, with singles to Jenkinson and Murray. For Emerald, 2 to Johnson, singles to Suez, Karasonyi and Hay amongst their goal scorers. Plenty more to come. Check all of this out in the local hub, and a very big thank you to Healesville Greyhounds for their support of the local competition. We'll head around the grounds on the other side of this. It's a 38-point lead to Upwey Tecoma. Last quarter about to get underway at Emerald. And it is a 38-point lead to the visitors, Upwey Tecoma. They would probably put the game to bed in reality with their run through the latter stages of that third quarter, but you never know. We did see Emerald win at the death a few weeks ago here as part of the Anzac weekend. Good kick wide. Finds Sheehan, been a real driving force for them in the second half. Up to half forward, goes through the hands there of Dart. Spike down. It's been a nearly day there for Picaro. Can he make it a little bit more than a nearly day? You betcha. Bang. Nearly kicked 2 beauties in the second term. Gets his opportunity there and takes full toll. 12-9-81 to 5-7-37 as Upwey Tecoma continue to run away with things. Look at the around the ground scores. We have a chance through this division and through the Div 1 seniors as well. Emerald trying to get things going out of the middle of the ground. Karasonyi sends the kick wide. Mount Evelyn and Monbulk locked at 5-8-38 apiece. Mount Evelyn with 4 goals to 1 in the third term of that game, 5-8-38 apiece. Hillsville lead officer by 4 points, 7-5-47 to 6-7-43. Wandon dominating Gembrook, 16-12, 108 to 5-3-33. And Alinda Ferny Creek lead Warri Alec, 8-11-59 to 7-5-47 by 12 points. We'll look at, as we say, the other fixtures across Div 1. Belgrave 19-9, 123 over Yarra Junction 4-3-27. Alexandra 11-15-81, Yay 4-4-28. Yarra Glen 16-13, 109 over Powelltown 7-7-49. And Warburton Millgrove 15-9, 99 over Pakenham 6-6-42. AFL Fremantle 11-9, 75 down the Gold Coast 9-10, 64. In that match, long ball to the top of the square there from Emerald, worked off hands for a rushed behind. It's a ball with Upwey Tecoma in the back pocket, sharing it around down there, leading this game by 43 points. Good kick in, finds Mackay. Straight up the middle of the ground, finds Richards West. Overrunning it there was Picaro. Comes through Lewis. Long ball off hands, no mark. Good hands. Outside of the boot, heading for Forbes. The target of that kick couldn't quite take the mark. Well trapped there by Lewis. Taken out of there, good hands. Wadsworth. Now the long kick towards the leading target in Richards West. It got to him on the bounce. Taken by Bailey Gross. Gets the hand pass through the middle of the ground to Wadsworth, who thumps it long. Good run off half back here. Upwey Tecoma finds its way through towards Waters. Lovely play from O'Connor. Waters kick sits up. Good grab taken by Spalding. Punched towards the boundary and over for a throw-in. 43-point game. Outside of the right boot there from Donadell. Nice hands back. Intercepted. Now they'll get a chance at goal through Hoy. Long, high flying shot at goal. Good persistence. He's worked hard down there. He gets his second. Got their first of the game down there in the second quarter. Gets their sixth of the game here now. And they cut the margin back to 37 points with that. 6-8-44 to 12-9-81. In this final term, been travelling about 7 minutes. Still waiting for the ball. We have problems at that end of the ground. We have got that one back though, or at least one of them. There could have been any of them. So play about to resume in the middle of the ground. 37-point lead to Upwey Tecoma, 12-9 to 6-8. Halbert out the footy in the middle. Umpire deemed that wasn't a free kick to Donadell. It probably should have been. Secondary bounce, just progressing ever so slightly. Emeralds attacking end, kind of at the where the stumps would be on the cricket pitch at their end. McKay with a nice tap. Hannigan. And no prior opportunity. Well, no, a prior opportunity and no correct disposal. It seemed pretty harsh, kind of gone against the trend of what we've seen in the game so far. Karasonyi won't mind, takes the free kick, drives it forward. Touched off hand, so no mark paid. Ball spills free. Pushing forward, there was Donadell. Just loops the hand pass. O'Connell's there. And we'll do it again about 35 metres out. Good give out of there from Hannigan. Yet to clear their defensive 50 though, right on the edge. And the umpire wanted to play holding the ball and found it again as they streak in towards the open goal and miss away to the right-hand side. Running shot there from Donadell. 6-9 plays 12-9, 36-point game. Middle stages of this quarter. Goes to the half-back line. Smith takes the mark on the second bite. Under the shades of the trees there. Turns that one over. Tried to pinpoint a teammate, but Gross read it best. Thumps it long, contest in the square. If they can take this away at the full, they can just about carry this a length. They've got loose players everywhere. Upwey Tecoma further up the ground. Fox zigzags. Found they're going a little bit tough on the way through, and Wadsworth able to get over it and tie them up. Well trapped, fed the hand pass through. Lewis up to attacking 50, burrowing it forward is Suez. Now the high shot at goal is good. Another one, back to back. Good long shot at goal there coming from Davies. And the margin back to 5 goals with that. 7-9-51 to 12-9-81. Just tick past 10 minutes in the term. So we're on footy hunt again. The hero on this occasion is going to be Josh Webb, who's gone and retrieved it. And of course, it is Emerald that are in a hurry to get it back to the middle, because they're the team that needs to get on a roll. Still 5 goals to the good Upwey Tecoma at this stage. Kapanki in the ruck there. Mackay stripped of it. They all play a little bit of volleyball in there, and eventually holding the ball. Probably a throw or incorrect disposal more than anything. Long kick's a good one from Wadsworth. Finds the target. And that goal kicker, Davies, thumps it long. One-on-one's further afield. They get over the back. They'll track onto it. Good pace there from Gazzard in the pocket. And it goes over for a throw-in. McKay guides the tap down. Nice hands. Left foot kick. Webb tried to pull in the mark. Just sort of half volleyed it a little bit. Outside of the boot there from Donadell. Couldn't straighten up and kicks it out of bounds on the full. Again, retrieving the footy. Got that one back. Probably roughly the halfway stage of this term. Gamley. Over the back and a throw in. Murray is the target of that kick. Whisked away from him. Kapanki kick smothered, wrenched it out of the ruck and couldn't progress it. Bailey Gross with the hand pass through. Now Ethan Gross goes to the pocket. Mark not taken. Recovery there from Hoy. Misses. 2 goals, 2. Might have made things a little interesting. 7-10-52 plays 12-9-81. And they, again, they certainly need ball retrievers, some staff that can just stand back there. It's not far until it just dips all the way down the hill. So played on up the middle. This is a thumping kick. Target Waters at the back, doesn't get to him. Picked up by Wadsworth, thumps it to the pocket. Doesn't go out on the full, so they'll get a throw in down there. Ticking past the 15-minute mark, they would need to be super efficient to make an assault on the contest, but they were 29 points down at quarter time and they're 29 points down now, which would probably be the frustrating part for them, that it's been an even contest since that early onslaught. Long ball down the wing, Spalding, good mark, had a nice day. Wrap around hand pass to Gross. Long ball to one-on-ones, almost a terrific mark hauled in there, just didn't quite hang on to it. Flashing through, got himself into a little bit of trouble there was Boyle. I'll get the kick away to the pocket, but it is all Upwey down there. Dart. Straight up the middle of the ground. Kick works out okay. Murray flashing across, takes the mark. Draws the hand pass in towards Waters. They share it. Cut back the other way. Just made a bit of a hash of that. Should come all the way back in again. Taken by Carasoni to the pocket, but well done by Dart. Hugs the line. And Maloney has it. 17, 18 minutes gone through this third quarter, or the final quarter rather. Long ball all the way across goal. Some tired legs there. Mark paid. Pankey, or Johnson it is. Left foot kick works out okay. And they'll get a shot at goal here from about 35 metres. Johnson had a very good second half in particular, and he feeds one inside there for this latest opportunity. Gazzard looking for his first. Almost directly in front, approaching the time on period in this quarter, and out to the right. 7:11:53 plays 12:9:81. Look at some of the around the ground scores of the closer fixtures that were all in this division. I'll give you the latest on those. Ball up just the attacking side of the wing for Emerald. Those other scores, Mount Evelyn 5 points up on Monbulk, 7:8:50 to 6:9:45 late in the game. Officer up on Healesville by 4 points, 7:9:51 to 7:5:47. And Warrie Alec up on Alinda Ferny Creek by 1 point, 9:8:62 to 8:13:61. So 3 games with a point, or with a kick, or within a kick, in the dying stages, probably in the last 5 to 10 minutes of all of those contests as it stands. Long ball down towards the forward flank, cut off there by Dart, who's been very impressive. Takes his full quota of time, went up towards the half-forward line. McKimmie took possession but couldn't muster much with it. And the ball will be bounced. Can Upwey Tecoma close it out with a late one here. Will Emerald keep coming home with them? Taken there by Pakitas, pulls his kick wide. Inside 50 go Upwey Tecoma, went over Spalding's head and found a target. And that target will be Pumpesh to line up for goal, to put the full stop on a pretty strong performance from the visitors here. on the approach. Kick is heading out to the right and one behind. Good kick down towards the half-back line, taken off a step there by Hannigan, inside 50. Spalding couldn't take the mark. Can this be the mercurial goal? It is from Caro. Architectural Cladding Supplies, goal of the day. He's been trying to do that all afternoon, and he lands a beauty. 2 goals, 2 he's kicked. Both goals beauties, that one in particular. Thirteen 10 88 plays 7 11 53. 2 goals, 2 to Picaro. Joins McKay, Richards West, Costas and Waters as multiple goal scorers. For Emerald, Johnson and Hoy have each kicked a couple to be in that multiple category. Nice work here by Gamely, who's been okay. Good attack there from Gross. The pace still late in the game. Tumbling kick down towards the top of the square. Lovely work there. That would have been clinical had that have worked. Kapanki trying to feed Gazard on the way past. That would have been about as good as it gets, but just the hand pass didn't stick. We'll tie it up here for a bounce. Early going in the Giants clash with Richmond. Richmond 3-2-20, GWS 1 goal. How about that? In the early stages of that game. Quick kick's going to come straight back in. Pepe centres it. Hurried snap forward, tumbling end over end ball. Might bounce through, touched. Seskis, the one who hammered it forward, just took some fingers on the way through. 7-12-54 plays 13-10-88 at the 25-minute mark of the last quarter. Still chasing some around the ground scores. Mount Evelyn have pushed their lead out to 10 points. 8-8-56 to 6-10-46. Officer out to 12. 8-11-59 to 7-5-47. Still a point in the Warrior-Galinda Ferny Creek game. The lead has changed hands multiple times in that contest. Good takeaway from Fox. Hasn't been their worst. Gets a 1-2 in that exchange. Goes towards Waters, who got them going in the first quarter. No mark that time. McKimmie knocked down Webb. Dispossessed. Waters still burrowing after it. Good pick up. Neat hand pass. Now they'll drive it into the middle of the ground. Nice ball. Mark taken here by the skipper, Costas. Good delivery. The man's played well in Richards West. Too far out to score, just beckoning for the short option. And that short option is on here in Sheehan, who will go short again. And the mark's taken by Murray, who's been very good. Kicks off a step. And that would have been a goal. It might be anyway. Well, that's interesting. Goal umpire was a long way back from the line. I reckon it was either over on the full initially, or it was touched behind the line the second time. But not a lot of protesting, it must be said. 13-11-89 to 7-12-54. Karasonyi's good ball, long kick forward. Now inside 50, tracking back, mark taken. Suez did well. It's about turning and going to the option at the top of the square, but we'll go back and have a shot. It is, in fact, Lewis. Maybe the final act of the game at the 27-minute mark of the last term. Kick looks okay, and it gets there. Lewis with his first. Emerald with their 8th. 8-12-60 to 13-11-89. Still sweating on whether we can get a couple of scores from these other venues before we tie it up. Mount Evelyn out by 15 now. Officer out by 13. Still nothing in that Warrialic Olinda Ferny Creek game. Is that a final score? It still says live. So maybe there is still time for Olinda Ferny Creek to snag a winner in that game. Taken off the back here by Pepe. Good wide ball, Webb. So outer side, boundary throw in, 29-point lead to Upwey Tecoma. Umpires found a free kick to Emerald there. It was still working. Into the middle of the ground to Boyle. Kicks to the leading target. Good spoil put on there by Dart, who's been pretty good. Hurried snap from Donadell. Top of the goal square. Mark plucked out of the air like an apple off a tree. And Johnson can kick his 3rd of the second half. Directly in front, pops it through. He's got 3. It's their 4th of the last term. Certainly haven't turned their toes up. Margin was 44 early in the quarter. They've cut it back to 23. Working hard to close the game out strongly. "29 minutes in this last term." We had a long 3rd quarter, so maybe still a couple of minutes. Kapanki turns tackler after trying to rove his own footy. McKay, the opposite ruckman, ends up getting it back. Long ball inside 50, punch to ground. And that'll be all she wrote. 4 goals 5 to 2 goals 2 in the last quarter to Emerald. But Upwey Tecoma, who set the pace early and had the answers when they needed to all throughout, record a very handy 23-point victory. Their 3rd win of the season, 3-4-1 they are now. Emerald at 2-6, so a good old-fashioned 8-point game between those two sides, putting a bit of separation between them. 13-11-89 to 9-12-66 for Upwey Tecoma. 3 goals to Costas, 2 each to Picaro, both beauties. 2 to Mackay, 2 to Richards West, and 2 to Waters. Singles to Jenkinson and also Murray. For Emerald, Johnson kicked 3 in the second half. Hoy kicked 2. Singles to Suez, Lewis, Carasogni and Davies. 13-11-89 to 9-12-66. The end result here. A big thank you to all of our game day sponsors, of course, throughout the afternoon. Healesville Greyhounds, the local footy hub, Petters Suspension and Brakes, who bring you the best player on the ground. The best player on the ground, I think, even though it was a pretty even spread, I'm going to give it to Jack Murray. I think Ned Park Jenkinson was right up there, but Jack Murray, I think, for weight of possessions and influence on the game, just edges that for the Petters Suspension and Brakes best on ground. Mark of the day probably goes to Johnson for some of the contested work he did for Game Face Vision. Goal of the day, give that to Picaro for architectural cladding supplies. A reminder to head to localfootyhub.com.au or download the app for all your live games, latest news, match replays, teams and player stats as we sign off from Emerald to Outer East Footy Senior Division, and hope you've enjoyed the coverage.